Did you start from scratch to supersize your business? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Most of the clients, most of the customers that I've worked with, most of the business owners and entrepreneurs over the decades have told me that they actually began their business, they started it from scratch. Well, what does that mean? It means they probably didn't have 2 nickels to rub together when they first got started. I know my very first business, I didn't have any money to start. I was 13 years old. So how many 13-year-olds have a big access to funds or to money? We just have an idea, a crazy idea, or other people tend to think it's a crazy idea at the time, but we figure out a way to make it happen. So what does start from scratch mean? Where did it come from, and how could I use it in my business to grow and supersize what I've already started, what I've got going already? And if you don't have anything going, keep in mind the vast majority of the people that start a business start it without any money, without any of their own money, without any venture capitalists. I think it's, I can't remember what the statistics were, but it was like in the high percentages, like 90-some% of people don't start their businesses with venture capital or funding, massive funding. They start, they get the idea going, they get it rolling, and then they might search out and seek out venture capital. But for the most part, the majority of people start from scratch, just like you and I probably have. So what does this India mean? Where did it come from? It's actually been around since the 1700s, came from sports. Now with the Olympics going on right now, it seems kind of appropriate that it would have come from sports. But it literally meant that when you were going to start a race, they would scratch a line in the ground, in the field where you were to start, and everybody started from that point. You would start the race from scratch. Now some people might have had different handicaps or different reasons that they didn't have to run such a far race. Maybe they were getting older, and so they didn't want to run a marathon, they just wanted to run a 5K. So you would have different lengths of races based on people's handicaps or reasoning or the race setup, but everybody had to start from the same starting point, the same line in the ground, the same point of scratch. And isn't that true of our businesses? We all start out with pretty much nothing. If we don't think we start from scratch, all of us started from scratch, right? We were born, we learned how to do absolutely everything it is that we do and love to do here on the planet. So I thought it might be kind of fun. What does it mean? It of course means that you start out with nothing. You start out with no prepared ingredients or no prepared things when you have your idea or objective. And so I think of cooking a lot. Some people are recipe cookers. They start from scratch. They just have the raw ingredients and they put them together and then combine them to make the perfect cake. Or there are people that go to the store, grab a cake mix, you know, Betty Crocker, Duncan Hines, mix up the ingredients, throw in the eggs and the oil or butter and liquid, either water or milk, and then boom, they throw the cake in the pan. So that's the difference between, like, buying a franchise would be probably considered not starting from scratch. Buying someone else's business, which I've done that as well, is not starting from scratch, at least in my definition. But if you have an idea and you start your business and you do everything, you start without anything but the idea, that's an example of starting from scratch. So what are 8 simple tips to start from scratch? Say you want to add a new product line, or you want to reinvent your business, or because of COVID you're required to do something differently. What are 8 quick tips for getting started at something, at anything? Could be a business, could just be a hobby, could be anything else that you want in your life. Maybe it's a diet program, maybe it's a new relationship. How do you go about doing this? Well, here's 8 simple tips to help you do this. Number 1, choose something that you really, really want. Pick something that you want, that you desire, that you want to achieve or have for your business. Number 2, research and create some kind of a plan. What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Find out if it's even a viable idea, right? Nowadays with the internet, there's no excuses for shortcutting the research process. We can research anything in a matter of minutes. I mean, most of us on our cell phones or on our computer device or go to the library, we can always get access to the information that we want. So we want to research and create a plan. Then we want to ask ourselves, what is the worst that could happen? Why do we want to do this? So that we make sure that we are stealthing ourselves and protecting ourselves, because it's human nature that we want to make sure that we're safe and secure and protected, especially in uncertain things. And whenever we're starting from scratch and doing something new, it's uncertain. So how do we kind of prepare ourselves and shield ourselves from that? We figure out by considering, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? I have an idea to add a new flavor of ravioli to my business. What's the worst that can happen? We can go to the expense of the trouble of testing it and it'll be a bust and no one will buy it. Everyone hates it. That's the worst that can happen. Are we going to lose a ton of money? No, we're just going to lose time and energy and some resources that we put into testing that idea. But the worst that can happen, can I live with that? Absolutely. And we can apply this to any area and aspect of our life. Then after we ask ourselves, what's the worst that can happen? What are ways, the next step is to ask ourselves, well, what are ways we can make this easy for ourselves? What are easy ways to do? What are simple things I can do first? What is the next thing I need to do? Make it easy on yourself to start and to move and to get some momentum. Then after we make it easy on ourselves, we want to ramp up our emotional state, right? We want to get our emotions. We want to get excited and curious about this thing so that when we hit little hiccups or little challenges or little changes or little failures, we don't just throw in the towel and quit. We keep on figuring out what we need to do next. After that, we want to find encouragement and help from other people. Now, I probably would have put this one toward the top of the list, but it's on the list of steps, so we want to consider it. But a lot of times the fastest way to do something that we've never done before, instead of totally starting from scratch, is to model somebody that's already done that. Find somebody that has already done the thing that you want to do and learn from them, or let them coach you, or hire them to coach you, or find a mentor or somebody that has experience and expertise in what it is that you want to do. And maybe it's just a little piece of what you want to do. Maybe you've already started your thing and now it's time to supersize and grow it, so you really need to take your marketing to the next level or take your sales processes to the next level. And one of the fastest ways to do that is to find somebody who's done it, or get a coach or somebody or a mastermind group that can help you through that stage of development. Number 7, just do it. Just go for it. Whatever your idea, you had the idea for a reason. You're supposed to create something in the world. So just start doing it and go for it. And I guess my best advice is just start. Take one step toward it, and then the next step will appear. And finally, learn about time management. Now, I don't know if I would put this one on here, but I guess the vast majority of us are not awesome at how we use our time. We all say, I don't have time, I'm too busy. But the truth is, each and every one of us, guess what? We only get 24 hours in a day. We only get today. We never get today tomorrow. So we have to take advantage of it in the best way that is helping us to start from scratch to create what it is that we want to create. So I am curious, did you, share in the comments below, start your business from scratch, or did you buy it? My last business I bought and we morphed it into something totally different. And right now I'm looking at buying and acquiring some businesses. So I understand and have started many businesses from scratch, but I also know that that takes longer and is a lot more work and a lot more trial and error and learning than I want to do at my age now. At my age, I'm more interested in starting not from scratch, starting from where something is and improving it and supersizing it, than starting all the way over with a brand new thing. Curious? Share in the comments below. Did you start your business from scratch? It's a simple yes or no. Any questions? Hit me up. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it in your business and your life right now? Have an absolutely awesome day.